Where they smoke, they is fire, and where there is smoke and fire, there's a brisket or some ribs in there. Today it's brisket. Now, you see this big old hunk of meat I got here? For you folks that's out there wondering, it didn't come off the beagle. He's still okay, I promise you. This is a full brisket. It's not a brisket flat. It is a full brisket untrimmed. Now, for a long time, folks been asking me, could you smoke a brisket? Now, folks, not that I don't do them. I do plenty of them. But I do them a little different than a lot of folks. And I was cooking brisket back when they was considered a waste. 19 cents a pound. The good folks at National Beef, they send me a good brisket. I appreciate them folks. The only packing plant in the United States that is 100% American beef. And that's what I believe in. Now, this is about 14 pounds worth of brisket. Now, for some of y'all that don't know where it come from, it come off right here, sort of the chest muscle. Now, there's all kinds of briskets. You can get them that are USDA select, some choice. I like to use those off certified Angus beef. Now, how many is this 14 pounder going to feed? Well, it's going to shrink considerable. It is 1/3 of a pound of finished meat to a person. Now, there's a lot of fat on a brisket, as you'll see here in a minute. You're going to lose a lot of it. And when I cook about a 14 pounder, I'm wanting to feed about 10 people out of it, maybe 11. But 10 or 11 folks to about 14 pounds worth of brisket. I throw these things in the freezer and let them chill about maybe an hour and 30 minutes till they get pretty hard. That fat will trim off of them a whole lot easier that way. But tonight, hey, we're just going to do it like it come right out of the icebox. And turn it around where it's long size right here and start with this big cap end of fat and just trim down through here. This is the beagle, some of the beagle's favorite part in the world. And you can see on this flat of the brisket, there's not a lot of fat to him. He comes off pretty good, pretty easy. Now, if that was cold, it would come off even better than that. Take that knife, go around that cap of that fat right there. Then let's just trim him out of there. Because I'm wanting to try to get him as lean as I can before I put him in that smoker out there. And you can trim brisket for about as long as you want to, nearly, and keep getting stuff off of it. I'll show you here in a minute where we're going to quit. And that's where this brisket comes back in and this flat meets the rest of this cap. Now, when you go and buy one, if you're buying a flat, like I say, you're just getting this part right here, if Shannon will zoom in. That's all you're going to get. And it's going to be cut just about like so. And they'll trim that rind off of it, off of a flat, so you ain't having to buy so much weight. They're going to charge you more for a pound buying a brisket flat than they are a whole brisket. So let's keep trimming this big old hunk off of him here. Trim him pretty lean as you can. You can see he's got a pretty good hump starting right here on the front of this. So we're just going to keep digging in there till we can get to the bottom of that. And you'll see in just a minute when we turn him over, look what's hiding at the bottom. See how much rind there is on it. You can tell where the fat starts. Just start with your sharp knife. Go down through here till you can. And if you've done this before, you'll know when that is slicing meat versus fat. You can see what we're ending up with and where we're trying to go. When this is cold, it'll be even easier to do this, I promise you. Now, you haven't got to get all of this off and get it plumbed down to where it's this clean everywhere. Because when we cook it slow, all this stuff will boil up, this fat, it'll peel right off there when we go to cut it to serve. So I just try to get it down there to where I know I can get it a little more seasoning to that meat versus just seasoning fat. And there's going to be a lot of folks out there already disagreeing with the old Cowboy that are professional barbecue cooks and everything else in the world. Everybody's got a way and a method that they cook brisket. This is mine. Hey, I like it. I'm going to share it with you. You can see the finished product to what I'm going to start out with. That's about as clean as I want to get it. That there's a lot of still fat down in here in marbling. This thing will not be dry, I promise you. Don't think we done took off too much of it. Now it's time to break out what we're gonna cook it in.